Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's happy hour. Today, we're going to be presenting on Indigenous Saskatchewan. My name is Zach Harrison, and I'm the new business development manager at Anderson Vacation. And as you all know, we have our Darcie Guarderas over here.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much, Zach. It's great to be here. Is my camera on? Does it look like it's on?
Good question. I can't see it on my end, but
Can anyone
we can
see
just
me?
check.
You're good.
You're good? Okay. I
Awesome. Thank you,
can't see
Jesse.
me, which is good. I don't like seeing me. I like seeing you, Zach. Oh, welcome, everyone. It's great to have you here today. This is my last happy hour, and I'm so excited to be here with Zach. We're going to talk about Indigenous Saskatchewan and a few extras. We have a special guest with us. Before we get started, of course, we want to talk about our housekeeping. Most of you have joined us before, but if you have not, welcome to your first happy hour. There will be many to come with your new host, Zach Harrison. And so the few things that we want to cover with you today is we're going to have some video footage throughout this presentation that was taken with a cell phone. So by no means is it professional. The sound is not perfect. And we're going to send you a copy of the presentation afterwards if you want to watch it again. I'm excited to see that people are interested in Saskatchewan. A lot of people haven't been there and they don't know what a gem it is. So we're going to share some really cool things with you today, have some really special moments. There are some questions like we always have. And if you pay attention to the presentation today that Zach and I'll be doing together, and you just take note of a few of the things that we're talking about, there will be three questions towards the end of the presentation. And we have, what are we giving away today, Zach?
We're giving away two seats on a FAM to Saskatchewan.
And you know what? I've hosted FAMs to Saskatchewan before. And if you ask any of the agents who've been on them with me, they are way too much fun. If you want culinary blue skies, Saskatchewan is 300 days a year of blue skies. So it's a pretty special place. And we're going to get rid of some of the myths you might have about Saskatchewan or misconceptions that you might have as well. So we're excited about that. Don't forget the chat. Tell us where you're coming from today. Where are you joining us from? Are you in Canada? Are you in the US? If you're in the US or other parts of the world, thank you for joining us. And you might not even know where Saskatchewan is, so we're gonna share that with you because your clients need to know this as well. I think I covered most of the housekeeping. And again, Zach, myself, Darcie Guarderas, I've been with Anderson Vacations for 10 years and I've moved on to something new. And people keep asking, what is it that Darcie's doing? And today I'm going to share that with you as part of this presentation. So we'll jump to the next slide and get started.
So, quickly, I want to introduce Patti Peesker from Tourism Saskatchewan. She is the travel trade marketing consultant, and she actually hosted both of us on a FAM. So, hello, Patti.
Thank you, Zach. Yes, as Zach said, my name is Patti Peesker, and I had the absolute pleasure to tour Darcie and Zach on their FAMs to Saskatchewan in September last year. I've been blessed to work for Tourism Saskatchewan for almost 30 years and tour this big, amazing province. Saskatchewan is a hidden gem, and from mysterious badlands to pine-topped highlands to sweeping grasslands that have remained unchanged for thousands of years, from fertile fields to rolling parklands, on the way to a boreal forest sheltering nearly 100,000 lakes, it is a pleasant surprise when you come to Saskatchewan. I'd like to thank Darcie and Zach for inviting me, and I hope everyone enjoys their webinar on Saskatchewan today.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Patti.
It's great to have Patti here because she's the best. She's so much fun. I had a blast. And Zach and I were actually on two separate FAMs. So we each had the pleasure of spending some time with her, getting to know her very well. I would consider her one of my very close friends. And I'm telling you, we did nothing but laugh for the entire, I think, 3 days. So we're going to share some of that footage with you shortly. So it's great to have you, Patti. Let's start with our beverage of choice. And you know what? Where I am today, I'm coming to you live from Nanaimo on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, for those of you who are coming from other places. And it's kind of a gray, drizzly day. So tea is actually a welcome thing today. And what I'm drinking, and Zach also is drinking, is our Muskeg tea. And Zach, do you want to talk a little bit about Muskeg tea?
Yeah, Muskeg tea. It is basically it's a very earthy tasting tea. but it has some sort of healing powers to it, they say. So it can be good for like a healing remedy for things like sore throats, colds, upset stomachs, but it doesn't just stop there. It has many, many uses. And it's actually served at Wanuskewin, where we'll be featuring here. And actually, I think there's a peach tea version that's one of Patti's favorites, if I can recall. But anyways, we'll carry on to the next slide.
That's great, and I love it. Absolutely love it. And it's funny because when you hear the word muskeg, when I was a kid, my dad would say, "Oh, that's just muskeg," when a little bog or whatever. I always thought of it like as like not a pleasant thing, but it's a really nice tea, and you can purchase it from Wanuskewin or even online. And so it's great with all those healing effects as well. Okay, go ahead, Zach.
Absolutely. So we're going to do a little land acknowledgement today. So we acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. And as well, too, I want to kind of mention that I'm actually in Winnipeg, otherwise known as Treaty 1 land. And Darce, I'm not sure where you are, but you may want
I'm
to.
in Nanaimo on the Nanaimo First Nations and also Métis lands here in Nanaimo. And we're going to do something a little bit more special today. In my journey, my background is actually Métis, and in my journey, I've learned all kinds of beautiful things. And I don't know if you can see the smoke coming up right now, but we're going to show you a traditional smudge that is done by many First Nations communities and groups within Canada and other parts of the world as well. And people have seen this before, and from what has been explained to me by the many people that I've been close to, is the purpose of a smudge is to cleanse your body, your mind, and everything about you so that you come in a peaceful, open, learning way. So I'm going to show you. I don't know if I stand up or if I just back up here to show you how the smudge goes, but I don't know. Can you see the smoke on there, Zach?
Yes.
Can. Okay, I hope my smoke detector does not go off. But okay, so what the whole purpose is to smudge the things that are important. So many people will smudge their eyes so that they see things in a better way, their mouth so that when they speak carefully, their ears so they hear and they listen properly, the heart of course, to do everything that you're doing each day with love. And then also arms, top of the head, legs. In many cases, if you're with another person, you can turn around and they'll do a smudge to your back. And I just actually was in the Yukon last week and I had a smudge done from the back with an eagle feather and it was really special. And you can actually feel it. It's a great way to start your day each day. And so I've taken up that practice to do it as often as I can. Or when I'm super stressed out about something, it's very calming. So I'm going to quickly do that for you and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So you can't see this is an abalone shell here, and you can see the smoke coming out. And this is sage and sweetgrass in here. And so what I would do is I use my hands to scoop the smoke like this, and then put it over my head, to my eyes, to my mouth, to my heart. And then I'll just quickly do the rest of my body. And Zach's doing it at the same time. And it's amazing how relaxing it feels. And it just brings you into places where you're starting with the best intention. So I just love that. And thank you for being with us today to share that with us. I hope that you feel relaxed as we go into the rest of our presentation.
Which Darce?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about reconciliation through tourism. So Indigenous tourism is really what we say. Indigenous tourism is a vehicle for reconciliation. And so often people ask me, I want to understand, I want to learn more, I want to do more. And so Anderson Vacations, which I'm really proud of and really excited, and Zach will tell you a little bit more about this in a second, is taking the initiative to give back to Indigenous tourism. There are over 1,900 Indigenous tourism businesses in Canada, and there's lots in the US. I'm super excited to say that I will be heading down to Louisiana in the US to be a speaker actually in October to talk about Indigenous tourism in Canada and sharing some of the things that we do here with some of our neighbors next door. So I'm excited about that. And so one of the things I like to say is in the past, Indigenous peoples have not really had a voice. And so through tourism, tourism is a way to give Indigenous people a voice. And not only are people wanting and asking to listen to their stories, they're actually willing to pay to listen to those stories. So what a difference that is. And so there's a fund, it's called the Indigenous Destinations Tourism Fund. And Zach can tell you what Anderson Vacations is doing. This is very exciting.
Yes, we're very excited to be a part of this. So we recently joined this a couple months ago, and basically every time you book with Anderson Vacations, we will be donating a dollar amount towards that fund. So we really want to be a part of actually putting action towards truth and reconciliation, and this is how we can do it. So when you book with us, you're also a part of that as well. So yes, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's so great, Zach. That I'm so
Mhm.
proud of Anderson Vacations for taking this on. Thank you for doing that. Let's jump ahead to the next one. Okay,
Yes.
where are we going?
Yeah, so we're going to Saskatchewan. So for you folks who don't know where that is, it's in between the provinces of Manitoba and Alberta, and it's kind of like this little rectangle-shaped province here. And the main two cities we're going to focus on today is Saskatoon and Regina, and some of the outskirts around those regions. So it's about a 2.5 hour drive between Saskatoon and Regina, and it's you can fly into either city, but it just depends. You can start your journey in either or, and kind of drive in and drive out.
You know what's really
As
great
well.
about,
Oh,
sorry,
go
Zach,
ahead.
sorry to interrupt you. What's really great about Saskatchewan is being in between Manitoba and Alberta. A lot of people do driving holidays between the two. And in the past, I am guilty. I have driven from Manitoba to Alberta and Alberta to Manitoba, and I whipped through Saskatchewan back in the olden days. Nowadays, I'm so aware, and I hope that today you walk away being fully aware of what it is your guests can do and why they shouldn't whip through Saskatchewan. They should really spend some time and make it part of their journey. So if you're in either of those provinces or you have clients that are traveling between those two, that's really important to be aware of. Go ahead, Zach. Sorry about that.
Absolutely. No, that's okay. And it's a little thing as well. So this is kind of what Saskatchewan used to look like in the late 1800s and 1900s. And this is basically the treaty lands that are still around today. And if you folks don't know what a treaty is, it's basically, to summarize it, an agreement between an Indigenous community and the government of Canada. And this agreement basically is where all the rules are put and all the things in place that they can follow. As we all know throughout history, that has changed and it's maybe not as followed as it should have been. And there's been some nuances in between, but I just wanted to kind of share a little map of where we started once. And just to kind of highlight too, Treaty 6 is where Saskatoon is, and Treaty 4 is where Regina is.
Perfect.
So I also wanted to kind of do a little update. So what's going on with Darce? So I'll hand it over to Darce because I know everyone's dying to know.
I think a few people know, but after being with Anderson Vacations for so long, towards the end of my career at Anderson, I was dabbling in helping Indigenous tourism businesses across Canada really come into themselves. We started this company called Tansei Tourism Solutions during the pandemic. And what's really great is the transition into this role works really well with Anderson Vacations because what I'm doing is taking small Indigenous businesses, working with them on product development and getting them from the dream stage, the idea stage, to a place where their product, their experience is market ready. So using my experience throughout all these years to get them to a place where you can find these products through Anderson Vacations. So I'm only sending the products to Anderson Vacations and the experiences to them that are reliable, beautiful, wonderful experiences that you can sell with confidence and that you know will be an authentic Indigenous experience. Now, there's a program called the Original Indigenous program. It's an accreditation program, and you're going to start seeing a logo that says original on it. And that means, and why original? Because who is the original people in Canada? Well, a lot of people will say, well, we were the original people, but the First Nations were the original people in Canada. And I just love that. So this program is ensuring that these experiences are authentic. So they have a cultural component to it. They have quite often a culinary component and some beautiful storytelling that your guests will absolutely love. And when we're doing these fam trips, or when I say we, when Anderson Vacations is doing these fam trips moving forward, we're going to always be very conscious of the fact that the Indigenous tourism component really needs to be present because we want to uplift and elevate our Indigenous businesses to a place where they thrive and grow and amazing. So this is a photo from the International Indigenous Tourism Conference. And I just want to quickly point out, I'm on the left, of course, with the bear arms. And then beside me is Wyatt, and he's from Saskatchewan, and Annie beside him in the sort of gold dress. This is actually the Saskatchewan delegation that was there. And Wyatt with his tie, he hand beaded that tie. And I actually nominated him for a service award, and he won, which is a huge deal because he's just, you can see his smile there, but when he's really smiling, it goes ear to ear. He's a very special guy. And that's what brings me back to Saskatchewan and the people and how lovely it is to be there. There's so many wonderful aspects. So if anyone wants to reach out to me at any time, I am going to still be connected to Anderson Vacations. I'm so excited in the direction that I'm going. So, and I thank you all for your support as we continue along. So thanks for letting me chat myself up and the company up, Zach. I really appreciate that.
Of course. So welcome to Saskatchewan. We're going to go into it now.
Okay, so I'll talk about Regina a little bit. Regina is definitely more of a government city. The Indigenous experiences here are just starting out. They're just starting to grow. We don't have any specific ones to showcase at this time. I was speaking to Annie from Indigenous Destinations Saskatchewan, actually earlier today. Oh my gosh. And she said, that's in the works right now. She's currently in Regina herself, moving to Saskatoon. Saskatoon tends to be the heart of where all the Indigenous experiences are based around, but Regina is going to come together. We've got lots of great attractions in Regina, but we're not going to focus on those today because in a matter of time. Now, Saskatoon, both Zach and I love this city. It's culinary, it's thrifting, it's the people, it's the, having the river and all these iconic little things to see there, the Delta Hotel and so on. Zach, what are your thoughts on Saskatoon?
Yeah, it's a young and thriving city. It's a lot of young entrepreneurs. The farm to table culinary scene is just fantastic. It's a very walkable city too, so you can kind of, just get your runners on and go from head to or end to end. And it's just one of those places that, yeah, I personally have fallen in love with. It's kind of like very similar to Winnipeg actually in a way, but maybe a little bit smaller. So maybe that's why it has my heart, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel exactly the same. Every time I go to Saskatoon, I'm excited. There's so many things to see and do there. So we have a few things that we are going to showcase, and Zach's in control of the PowerPoint. I keep pushing the button because I'm used to it, but he's going to go ahead and we're going to talk a bit about Wanuskewin. It took me a long time to learn how to pronounce this. Wanuskewin Heritage Park, which is located in Saskatoon, and it really is the story of the Northern Plains Indigenous people. This building is beautiful. It's spectacular. If you have not been there, you gotta go. Hey, Zach, it's just beautiful. I love it. Do we have a video here, or is this just a photograph?
We do.
Okay,
We do.
You're looking at the beautiful Wanuskewin Valley behind me, and I'm super excited to be here. This is a gathering place for Indigenous people for over 6,400 years. Indigenous groups from all over would come here to winter because the valley was a safe place and the winds would just blow right over, and it would just be perfect for them to be here during that season. It's really pretty with the fall colors. And this is inside Wanuskewin. Sorry, we went a little fast with the filming here. Sometimes we get excited. This is inside, so you can see that there's all kinds of displays. There's a bison on display. This is one of my favorite displays. These are almost like transparent, but they have these beautiful photographs and the stories of the people from, the elders from this area, the history and so on. So well worth spending some time here, but there's some really exciting, fun things that you can do at Wanuskewin besides going inside. This is Jordan. Before you hit play, Zach, I just want to explain that this is Jordan, the sweetest boy on the whole entire planet. I believe he's Cree, and he works at Wanuskewin, and I got to spend a lot of time with him. And so we'll start this quick little video so you can actually hear in Jordan's words how he feels.
Queen Elizabeth II visited the park and unveiled this plaque for us, which is, a great thing. But our people definitely didn't need the Queen to tell us this place was important. We've known that for thousands of years. My favorite part of this plaque is the use of this here. Obviously, those are Cree syllabics. So we have French, English, and then our own language as well, which is great.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. It's very, oops, they're there. Okay, so this is at the evening. We were so lucky, Patty and I, because the sun was coming down the perfect night. wildlife. There were deer. It was beautiful. What's really cool is that now Indigenous people are claiming back their languages. And so there are language classes all over the place. And so they're learning that, again, taking that back. And that's what really it is. It's taking it back because it was taken from them not so long ago. The last residential school in Canada was closed in 1996. So there's a lot of healing to be done. And we're hoping that we can contribute to that. There are tons of walking trails at Wanuskewin. You can spend literally a half a day or longer. We've got the bison there, and there's a quick story I want to share with you about the bison. And I'm pretty sure, actually, Patti can correct me. Maybe we'll bring Patti on in a little while. But they brought these bison in, and they're from I think it was from Yellowstone in the U.S. They brought these bison back because they were extinct out of where they were from originally here in Saskatchewan. They were brought back, and it was the most amazing thing. They brought them in on these trailers, and when they opened the trailers, all these people there were to see these bison, and they just came barreling out of these trailers. Like they knew they were home, and it was like very emotional. People were extremely emotional. And then like a year after they were on the land in Saskatchewan here at Wanuskewin, these bison actually used their hooves, and they used them to kind of scuff the ground and like kind of dig into the ground, and they uncovered petroglyphs from like thousands of years ago that no human would have likely ever found. So if that's not a beautiful story, then I don't know what is. Very, very special. Here's another video of Patti and I.
Golf cart. And this is my friend Patti, who you're going to meet in real life. But right now we're at Wanuskewin in Saskatoon, and we're going on an adventure. So please join us.
This is just one of the trails.
Look at the colors.
This was the last day of summer. So it was the fall colors already. It was beautiful. Like we couldn't have painted a more perfect night.
Sky. Whoa.
Some of the best sunsets you see in the world are actually in the prairies.
Absolutely. And you know what? Patti is the perfect, she always says the best thing is she could never give up these they could never give up these sunsets. Like she couldn't give it up because it's so beautiful. It's such a special thing there. Okay, so remember I said we had some really fun things that we did at Wanuskewin? Well, I think I told you before that I've stayed in a teepee. I've stayed in an igloo up in the Northwest Territories. I've stayed in a teepee up in northern Manitoba. When I stayed in a teepee up in northern Manitoba, it was a glamping teepee. I want to make that very clear, and you'll understand why in a couple of minutes. I didn't know what we were getting to. This is a very authentic experience, which I loved. Patti and I slept over in this teepee. On the right-hand picture, you'll see the rocks. Those are part of a medicine wheel that we had the privilege to go and see, but we'll show you a little bit more. Here we go. There's a campfire at night. We got to have bannock. I have had so much bannock in the last 4 months. I'm telling you, I cannot be in a low-carb diet, that's for sure, because I'm addicted to bannock. And it comes in every form. You can have it baked. You can have it fried. You can even have it cooked under the ground in sand. It's just amazing. So this is the start of our teepee sleepover.
Really, really cool thing about Wanuskewin and the Great Plains in general is we still find the remnants of our people who lived here so long ago.
We're doing a smudge. That's when we were doing a smudge that night. So we got to do it. And that was Jordan playing fiddle.
So that way.
And I wanted to show you the beautiful, you can't see the stars, but there's stars absolutely everywhere. But this young fellow, Jordan, who was like a fiddle player, he told us stories. He was like, there's even more footage coming up of him. He was absolutely adorable. I wanted to take him home. He was so cute. He was just so sweet. And I can't remember, I'm sorry, the name of the young lady that was there as well. And she was also a storyteller. She was absolutely beautiful. So listen carefully because this is us, Patti and I, besties sleeping in the teepee.
Hello, Patti.
Hello, Darcie.
Are you warm enough?
I am.
Patti and I have just tucked ourselves in. I'm going to try and use this light for the night in our teepee at Wanuskewin. It has been probably one of the most fun nights with lots of laughter, lots of cultural experiences, I will share all of those with you. But right now I'm laying on my back in the teepee with the skylight above, and the stars are spectacular. Let me see. Now that we're all tucked in, we've had lots of fun. We're taking time to reflect on this beautiful site, Wanuskewin, and looking forward to tomorrow morning when we're going to explore in the daylight. But after eating all that bannock and hearing the stories from our friend Jordan, we've had quite a magical night, and I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of shut-eye and starting our day tomorrow. Good night, Patti.
It was cut off just a little bit too short because one more second you would have heard Patti say, "Good night, Darcie," and then we burst into laughter, of course. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm holding a pair of pajamas in that picture. Patti will know why. I didn't think it was going to be that cold, so that was the pajamas that I brought to sleep in the teepee. And that's why we laughed for about 2 hours, because it was actually below zero that day. So Patti was sweet enough to like lend me all kinds of blankets and sweaters, but we had just a hoot of a laugh because I did not come prepared. And then you can see on the right-hand side, that's actually me sleeping. And Patti woke up in the morning and took a shot of me sleeping inside the teepee. Very basic, but authentic. Like, we're literally sleeping, like there's not a whole lot going on in there, just us sleeping. But you could hear the nighttime. Well, we'll play the next video.
Good morning. Good morning, Patti.
Good morning, Darcie.
Wow, we made it through, and this was our view this morning. The sky is blue. We went to bed with stars, and we woke up to the sun coming in, and it was magical. I'm a little chilly, but it is the last day of summer. So I think that guests will love this. It just, I don't know if I've felt this sense of calm for a long time. I love it.
There is something to be said for disconnecting, like really, truly disconnecting. Like, we didn't look at our phones, we didn't have our laptops. We let ourselves be completely engaged in something that was really, really special. So your guests are looking for this. 1 in 4 Canadians are actually looking for an Indigenous experience. They exist. It's about awareness. We got to get that message out to people that these experiences do exist. 1 in 4 Canadians are asking. 1 in 3 international guests, including the US, are also asking for an Indigenous experience. So this cultural learning is so, so important. And this is on the inside of Wanuskewin. They can do teepee talks. If you have a group that wants to go, great spot for groups because they have all the facilities there, meeting space and so on. They do have miniature, like they'll do a mini powwow or dance demonstrations, and you can actually view the regalia and so on. And I can't say enough about it. It's so beautiful. Okay, so did you know that Indigenous people have their traditional Indigenous games? There is nothing more fun. We only have 1 video clip, but I'm telling you, we played this for a good half an hour and I was rolling around the floor having the best time of my life. It's so, so fun. So Jordan is going to explain it, and he's going to show us exactly how to do it. And I had the pleasure of playing. We literally couldn't stop, and Patti was videotaping for us. So fun.
Hello, Tansei. Today, my name is Jordan. We'll be playing some traditional games here at Wanuskewin. Our first game, we call this game the Moccasin game. Moccasins, traditional footwear of our people. This game comes to us from the Dakota and Anishinaabe people. Story goes that a long time ago, 2 hunters, 1 Dakota, 1 Ojibwe, they were after the same elk. So in those days, hunters carried 2 pairs of moccasins, 1 on their feet, and an extra pair in case those wore out. But the story goes that they took an arrowhead off of one of their arrows and they stuck it in one of their moccasins. So the other hunter had to guess which moccasin it was in. If they guessed it right, then he got to kill the elk. The Ojibwe said that they won the game, and the Dakota said that they won the game. So today we'll be deciding to see who wins here. Yeah.
Well, I'm hiding the little arrowhead. Not very good at it. My first time.
I fucking gave you a clue there.
I lost every time, every single time. And literally, that was the one time I really messed up, and he knew right away. But even when I did it like really well, he still won. Like it was a blast. We had a great time. And so, can you imagine your guests experiencing that? Like nothing but laughter, learning, cultural experience. Super, super cool. There's also a dinner culinary experience here, and I have not done this. I don't think Zach has, but I'm pretty sure Patty has done Hanwi Moon dinner. And this really is, I want to make sure I say it right. It was designed to delight the senses. So it's a celebration of the Northern people and of the people, the landscape, the culinary aspect, and all these local ingredients. So you actually have this meal in stages outdoors with Indigenous chefs. And everyone that I've spoken to has said that this is one of those things you just never, ever forget. So if you have guests who are looking for that, you can actually build an itinerary all around the Hanwi Moon dinner because there are specific dates and they do know in advance when the dates are. And you can get that product through Anderson Vacations. We've got more at Wanuskewin. Yes, we do. We've got family fun. And I don't know, Zach, did you see this playground when you were there?
I did. It is incredible. Like my inner child wanted to jump on that play structure.
Guess what? My inner child did. I had so much fun here. This is, oh, I won't even tell you because I think I say it in the video, but it's really amazing. Check out this award-winning playground at Wanuskewin Heritage Park. We're still here the morning after our TP sleepover, and I love this because kids can explore and learn and have fun as well. Okay, that was painful. At the same time, it was super fun. You could hear my skin on the plastic. It's so great. You could spend half a day there. Okay, we've both been to Dakota Dunes, but Zach, my throat's getting sore. You tell me about Dakota Dunes because I know
Yeah,
you.
that's okay. No, Dakota Dunes is kind of like an all-encompassing destination to go to in the sense of accommodation. You can go there and it's about, I think it's 25 minutes outside of Saskatoon. And it's just one of those locations where you have the casino there, you have the golf course, you have the pool, but they also have an activity center as well too, where you can take out things like e-bikes. They do like I think starlight gazing and sessions like that. So there's just so much to do and see all in one place. And it is still close enough to the city too that you can also go back in and do those things as well. Yeah.
Only 20 minutes south of Saskatoon is this wonderful resort called Dakota Dunes. It's a resort and casino that is Indigenous owned. So there's all kinds of incredible, authentic Indigenous experiences. And if you want to get outside and explore, you can do this fabulous e-bike.
And also in the back, they have traditional games as well. So the ones that Darcie was actually playing there, they have some of those games there too. And they also have a teepee, so you can learn about some of that, the cultural sides of that too. And then they also have like some Bannock and beer making, or sorry, Bannock and fire making. And then as well on the right here, you'll see the e-bikes that Patti and I are on there. And then as well too, like I mentioned the golf course, and this is a full 18 course golf course. And basically, if you look over there, it's just an incredible view. And you can also go through those paths on the e-bikes or on the golf carts and just venture around and explore. And then as well, a beautiful pool with a beautiful view as well.
You know what? I've been there so many times. I never knew about the pool. I never used the pool. And so when I was there last time, they were like, "Did you bring your bathing suit?" And I'm like, "Why would I bring my bathing suit?" And then I saw the pool. I'm like, it has everything for everyone. And I got to tell you, I'm actually personally working with Dakota Dunes developing their Indigenous activities program. And they're coming up with some really great experiences that are connected to some of these photos that are coming up with the restaurant and so on. And they do as Zach mentioned, they have Bannock and bonfire and stargazing at night. You can combine the two of those. So it's a really great family place or couples. Fantastic.
And here's some of the pictures of the accommodation. So you can just see in the inside, it's very earthy and very inspired by Indigenous arts. And then on the right here as well, there's a little award that I'll let Darcie speak about actually, because I think she was a part of this one maybe.
Yes, I was. So actually one of my clients, Fred Spence from Spence Custom Carving out of Winnipeg, who does carving workshops with soapstone. If you have a chance, you got to do it. He did these awards, handmade. They are beautiful. And I was actually sitting with Fred at the Indigenous conference in Winnipeg when the winner, Dakota Dunes, was awarded this. So Fred was whispering in my ear the winners before they were announced. So it was kind of cool. But they're just beautiful and unique. Like nowhere else in the world will you see this kind of thing with the dream catcher inside of the carving. So it's great, beautiful.
And also, this is the restaurant at Dakota Dunes, and it has a big selection of Indigenous wines, as you'll see on the left there, and then just a beautiful landscape on the inside, a very open concept, a lot of delicious Indigenous based food. So there's bison in the menu, I believe, and just some other things you'll see as well throughout. So here's another picture of some of the things that we ate. And as you'll notice too, the portions are absolutely massive here. So that's something that they definitely don't skimp out on. So that's always nice to see too.
I love it. If you go there, you got to have the meatballs, the best meatballs on the planet. So good. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit about Champetre County. Most of you who have joined before on a Saskatchewan happy hour know how I feel about this place. My heart is here. It is so when I started working with Champetre County, they were not Indigenous owned. The couple that owned it, the father owned it. He was not Indigenous. The daughter's taken it over. She's actually Métis. So that's really cool. So Champetre County, beautiful. And I think the videos tell the whole story. So as you see these, it's about small barn animals, country guys, relaxing. They have the largest wooden maze in North America. It was actually on Amazing Race. That's Francine, one of my besties. I love her to bits. And she's got horses. They're not for riding, but they do sleigh rides at Christmas time. There's actually a travel agency in Saskatoon that contributes a lot of bookings to the sleigh rides with Francine. She does a huge amount of them. We're hoping for lots of snow this year, so she has a great year. The culinary side here is fantastic too. All kinds of events. If your clients are driving between Saskatchewan, or Alberta and Manitoba, and they don't stop at Champetre County, they are truly missing out on a really incredible experience. So I think there's some more video footage on this as well.
Actually, I don't think there is. I think that's all of that one. But
okay, sorry.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about some non-Indigenous experiences too. So as Darce mentioned, I was lucky enough to go on a fam with Patti in Saskatoon not much after, and I got to experience some of those things that Darce just talked about, but also some other new ones. So one thing I'll start with is the Meewasin River Valley. So they're a non-for-profit in the region, and their job is to basically be the stewards of the land. And Meewasin actually stands for "It is beautiful in Cree." So they actually take a lot of the Indigenous components of taking care of the land and implement those into their practices. But also they do experiences on the side, and lots of them are very wildlife-based and nature-based. So they do have Saskatoon walking tours. They have grazing dinners where you can actually go and see sheep being herded and actually have a farm to table meal, which is just so cool to do. And then as well, they have something called Naughty by Nature, which I personally haven't done, but I've heard it's quite silly and really, really neat. And I'll let maybe Darce share about it because I think she's done it, I believe, right?
I have done it and I absolutely loved it. Naughty by Nature is an experience you can book in advance. Anderson Vacations can probably get you tickets to it for your clients. And it's like you do this walk through the forest and it's literally naughty by nature, like naughty. And they have all these
birds and the bees, Darce? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's a little bit about the birds and the bees. You get to listen to animals making babies, and you have to guess what animal it is that are doing that kind of thing. And then at one point we actually smelled diapers with different kinds of things in them so we could identify what animals they were. We had to use certain words to create phrases that were hysterical. It's just fun. And at the beginning of it, there's you get to make your own cocktail. And at the end, they have this most beautiful charcuterie box I've ever had. But it's hysterical, super funny. I personally think they could push the line a little bit further because I really want to go fast, but they keep it clean enough that it's family fun, but I think they could, make it adult-like as well. Really cool, really fun.
Also, that's just a little taste of the sheep grazing that they do. So they have a little sheep grazing experience. This isn't the dinner I mentioned, but this is an actual sheep grazing experience. So this is Jared here, and he's using his whistle to basically get the dog to move the sheep in certain directions, as you see here. And it's incredible the skill that the dog has, but also the relationship from him and the dog, because this has been years and years of training to get to this point.
And so as we give those two commands, we can steer our dog.
And then at one point, he actually got me to go on the other side of the field, and he got them to surround me in sheep. And I just stayed as still as I could. And it was kind of scary, to be honest, because I'd never been surrounded by that many animals in my life. But it was super, super cool.
That is awesome, Zach. I feel like I missed out on something very cool. I didn't even know this existed. And one thing I want to point out is that dog looks like my dog, Cassidy, doesn't she?
It does, yeah.
Except for she was Summer Lake. Okay, perfect. Let's jump to the next one.
And then another thing about Saskatoon, as I mentioned, their culinary scene is unbelievable. The farm to table scene is next level. I think it's one of the best in Canada, if not the best personally, because they just almost every restaurant is using ingredients that are grown in Saskatchewan. And that's just awesome to see. And this is actually an experience you can do with Oldla, it's called. So it's a restaurant there. And you can actually go and see their farm, see some of their animals, learn about the processes that they use to create their menus and everything. And then you actually later in the evening can go and do the dinner itself and get a little tasting. So I'll show you some pictures actually of the food here. So to add to the Saskatoon food, on the left here is Odla, and that was what we had actually after our little farm tour. So you'll see the zucchini there. That was like the best zucchini I've ever had. And it's very simple, but that's what they kind of take pride in is simple ingredients done right and done fresh. And that's just awesome to see. And in the middle, another farm to table restaurant that's fantastic is Primal Pasta. Probably some of the best fresh pasta I've ever had. That's a risotto you'll see there. And then, of course, we're in Saskatoon. We had to get a Saskatoon berry pie. So this is at Berry Barn on the right there. And it was probably the best Saskatoon berry pie I've ever had in my life.
And Zach, you know what? There are some people from the US who don't maybe possibly know what a Saskatoon berry is. And
Yes.
so I just wanted to share with you, it's like a blueberry. It is like, it looks like a blueberry kind of, but it has its own distinct taste. I love blueberries, but Saskatoon pie, it makes me think of Grandma G. And it's absolutely the best pie. I think you have to have it with vanilla ice cream and warm.
Oh, it's a must. It's a must. Yeah, and then another great stop is Black Box Distillery, and it's actually an award-winning distillery. I believe it has won the world master for whiskey and gins actually. So they're really, really well renowned. And they also have like a U-pick flower area as well too. They have a gin and whiskey tasting experience, and you can actually go behind the scenes and see the distillery itself. And I think we have a little video here of Darce actually, who was there a couple years back.
Welcome to Black Fox Distillery. You may have experienced this before with us on one of our previous happy hours that we did for Saskatoon. We're now back here live and in person, and we're exploring this incredible facility from you-pick flower gardens to you-pick pumpkin gardens in the fall. There's something for everyone in the family. And for your clients, they can come in the winter time to Black Fox and have a whiskey or gin tasting experience.
It's also something you can do. Oh, sorry, Darce, go ahead.
No, it's a really special experience. They're actually working, I don't know if they've got it to fruition yet, but they were working on a high-end experience where there's whiskeys here that are worth thousands of dollars. So if you have high-end guests, they're working on that too.
It's also a very year-round experience. I want to actually add this to when I was there in the springtime because the whiskey barrels are actually outside. It starts to thaw, and naturally the smell that comes out from it is supposed to be just phenomenal. So it's a year-round experience that you can go to.
Definitely.
And also, I want to kind of break a little bit of a stigma that Saskatchewan has. So I'm not sure if many of you folks know, but Saskatchewan is in the prairies and it's known as being flat. But if you look at the next couple slides, I don't know, this is looking a little bit more hillish to me. So this is actually a sand dune. It's actually one of the most northern sand dunes, active sand dunes in Canada. And it's called the Athabasca Sand Dunes. And if you see there, that's not looking too flat to me. But as you go along, look at these rolling, beautiful hills in the Grasslands National Park. And it also is a great place to go and view the sky to see the stars and everything like that. And then as well, we have the Cypress Hills and just beautiful rolling hills. So if you're doing a self-drive through the area, it's just a great place to go and stop. And then as well, this as well. If you look at that, does that not look like Uluru, the mountain or the rock in Australia? But this is in Saskatchewan, which is crazy to believe. So yeah, just to kind of break that stigma, Saskatchewan isn't just flat. There is some hills and some beautiful areas to go explore and discover.
You know what, Zach? One time I saw a bag. It was like a shoulder carrying bag. What are those called? Like a tote bag. And it said Saskatchewan, who you calling flat?
That's so good.
That was very appropriate. Okay, I'm going to talk about Manitou Hot Springs. Okay, so this again is not an Indigenous experience. However, there are Indigenous women's groups that go here because Patti introduced me to a lovely lady here named, I think her name was Lorraine, and we did a tapping session where we actually tapped ourselves, and she works with survivors, Indigenous survivors, and goes through these different things with them, and she has oils and things. It was really an amazing experience. We don't have video footage on that, but I'm going to show you Manitou Hot Springs because it's been around for a very long time. And in the water, in the local, it's a mineral spa, so the hot springs heat up the water, but the lake itself has like little shrimp in it. That's why I'm standing with those shrimp, and that's in the change room before we go into the pools, of course, breaking the rules. And I think we do have a video of these pools, and it was really lovely. It's an older place. You can tell by looking at it, it's a little bit older, but lovely nonetheless. So take a peek at this. It's a large, large pool. You can't sink in here. Like it's salt, so you can't sink. So that's why it's not like crystal clear blue, because there's salt in the water. It makes you kind of buoyant, which is really, really cool. And it's huge. And this is me doing I don't know what that's called, whatever, and I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, something
Clearly
like
my
that.
butt is lighter than the rest of me because it just floated to the surface. So, well, we didn't cut that out, but there we go. All right. And here's our recipe. Of course, Saskatoon
We
berry.
had to, of course.
Had to. So if you want this recipe, we will send it out to you with the recording, and actually in the email, the follow-up email. But if you can get a hold of some Saskatoons, if you live somewhere where you don't have Saskatoons, make it with blueberries. But Saskatoon pie is so yummy. You can make Saskatoon tarts. Oh my God. I'm starving right now. I'm starving. Beautiful.
It's dinner time after this, Darcie.
It is. Well, for you, not for me, but for
Yeah.
you. So we'll send this recipe out, so you don't have to write it down or anything if you want to take a picture, but you don't have to. We'll send it out to you.
Awesome. And we just have our cultural exploration FIT packages that if you wanted to reach out to myself or any of our agents, we can put you in touch and basically put together a package of anything we just kind of talked about. All these experiences, they're all customizable, and we can put together a self-drive for your clients, or anything to whatever they really want or need. Yeah. And then the online brochure, just so you know, our brochure is not paper anymore. So we basically went paperless in 2022, but you can get our brochure online here, or you can always email myself as well, and I can send it to you. Another important thing to note as well, that all of our brochures online, you can download the PDFs for them and send it off to your clients as inspiration.
We know how important it is that your guests, they want something on paper. They miss those brochures. We totally get that. We're trying to be as green as possible. And so that's important to us. But we understand that you need those brochures. So you can download it, print it off, give the specific tours to your guests, or email it to them, and then they'll book with you, not with us. You can say, have them come right back to you. Sorry. Just want to jump.
And then as well, our travel agent portal, don't forget to sign up if you already aren't signed up. We're always adding our newest, latest promotions and incentives, our latest itineraries, and some of our newest product. So please sign up if you already aren't. And we're going to be doing some changes in the near future too. So stay tuned for that.
That's where you find out about fam trips too. And speaking of fam trips, here's your chance to win 2 seats, one of 2 seats. It's like for 2 agents. So you will win one and someone else will win one. So you have 2 chances to win, and great opportunity. So I'm going to read these questions off. These are not difficult questions if you were paying attention. Where did Darcie and Patti sleep in a teepee? Specifically, the place that we were at. Where did we sleep in the teepee that was just a ton of fun? Where was it that I did the e-bike? Zach also and Patti also did the e-bike there at a certain location. And were you paying attention to what is the name of Darcie's new business, my new business? I have a feeling that my LinkedIn is going to go nuts right now. Or people are going to be looking up on LinkedIn. What was it she said? So that's okay. Go ahead, look at LinkedIn. Those are the questions. We're going to continue on for a couple more things, and then we are going to jump back to these questions and leave them on the screen. I think we just have a couple more, Zach.
I think we actually have one more slide, actually. So as you all know, Darcie is no longer the business development manager at Anderson Vacations. So if you ever have any questions or just need anything, or you want to even just chat, I'm around. So you can email me at zharrison@andersonvacations.ca. And I'm looking forward to starting this journey with you folks together. And actually, one more thing, I just want to say maybe goodbye to Darcie as her last happy hour. It's been an absolute pleasure having you as a mentor and just learning the ropes from you and just being inspired by you. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of this journey with you.
Thanks, Zach, and thank you to all of you that joined us today and for sticking it out. I love that you took the time to come and learn about Saskatchewan. That means that you are dedicated to all of Canada because every single corner of this beautiful country matters. And a lot of agents didn't know that you can make money selling Canada, and you can make a lot of money selling Canada. I'm going to miss all of you. I am around, and please, if you want to reach out to me, go to LinkedIn, send me a message. I am still around. If you have questions about Indigenous tourism, I am more than happy to spend some time with you and share with you because not just Saskatchewan, all of Canada, in the next 5 years, I really truly believe that Canada is going to be ground zero for Indigenous tourism for the world. And I'm just beyond thrilled to be a part of that. So thanks again for joining us, everyone. Go back to those questions, Zach, if you want to leave them up there. And I hope to hear from some of you. And once again, thank you and good luck to you, Zach. You're going to kick some butt with Anderson Vacations. It's such an incredible company with the best staff ever. And I want to thank Jesse and who else am I thanking, Zach?
Yara, the whole Anderson team.
Yara, of
Yeah.
course, the whole Anderson team. Thank you all for all your support, and I'm sure I'll see you all soon. And if you're, someone asked me the other day when I was wearing these earrings, and sometimes I get messages about that. These are by handmade beaded earrings done by out of Winnipeg, Iron Star Company out of Winnipeg, and she's now trying to open a store in BC in Vancouver at Granville Island. So these are absolutely one of my favorites. And again, thank you, everyone. It's just a pleasure to have been here today, and we'll see you all soon. Bye, Zach.
Awesome. Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.